Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Craig Burley and Stevie Nicol here in the studio. Sorry, Leeds fans, we're starting at Ellen Road, where Liverpool, of course, thrashed Leeds by 6-1. For Liverpool, I suppose you could still spin it so that those 3 points still keep them in the top 4 hunt. When you take a look at the top of the table, they've actually got a nice running. We were looking at it before, but still, they remain 47. That's 9 points adrift of Newcastle in 4th. Both have played 30 matches. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the table, you kind of feel it's the 3 that's there and Leeds as well, considering what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. Remember, Leeds have conceded 6 now against Liverpool, 5 against Crystal Palace.
Probably Leeds down.
Well,
I think West Ham are going to be fine. It's going to be Leeds down.
Well, West Ham aren't in the relegation zone.
I think West Ham are fine.
I don't know saying anything about West Ham.
I just said Leeds down, sorry. I'll keep my mouth shut then.
Well, I'm just wondering why you kept saying West Ham.
I thought you said up until Leeds, that's where it's going to be.
Yeah.
And he's just said from Leeds down.
Well,
Section 2, 3. What?
I obviously wasn't listening to him.
Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were saying Leeds down. Oh, you mean from Leeds down on the table? I see.
You know what was the interesting thing, getting away from this relegation shambles, was if you can't beat them, join them with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Did you see what they were doing with him again?
He was in midfield more, wasn't he?
It was like, it's a carbon copy of what Arsenal have done with Zinchenko at times, but particularly what John Stones has been doing, or Kyle Walker, particularly John Stones. And I mean,
it works.
Well, it worked against Leeds. But it's interesting.
They were trying to do it at Arsenal, against Arsenal last week.
Okay.
But for some reason, he only seemed to do it for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then after that, he kind of ended up back at right back. But I guess today, because they had so much of the ball, I mean, he could have stood up front today. Let's be honest. But just because he had so much of the ball today, it stuck out like a sore thumb that he's standing in the middle of the park.
Did we introduce Don? I don't think we did. I think we kind of went off.
Is he here?
Went off on a relegation tangent.
Ask him about Leeds down or something.
Don, men against boys in the end, yeah?
It was, and I don't think the lads are giving Trent Alexander-Arnold enough credit for how well he played. All right, it was against Leeds, but he's played 2 games in that role. Arsenal last week and Leeds, he's had 3 assists. I thought he was man of the match by a million miles. I thought his passing range was incredible. It was men against boys. Have a look at his touch map and his heat map and where he was, and he was all over the park. I mean, you talk about John Stones playing in that role. You talk about Zinchenko playing in that role. Trent's a far better passer than those two. He's only behind Kevin De Bruyne in terms of the passes that he can make from distance and the range of pass and the assists that he gets. So, listen, Jurgen Klopp stumbled across something. I think it'll work. I think he'll take him into next season in that position. He's started his career as a central midfield player before reverting into that fullback role. And you know what? It might save Liverpool millions.
Don, well, one second. He hasn't stumbled across it. He's watched Man City. I mean, it's a wee bit embarrassing, is it not, to an extent, as a coach? It's a little bit embarrassing,
isn't it just part and parcel of the world? You can't look at someone doing something well and go, well, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to look embarrassed.
Well, he hasn't done it up until the last...
Well, that was going to be my question to Stevie, is why is it taking him so long? When we've all been sat here saying that he needs to do something different with him.
You're kind of asking that as if we've just found the answer. I mean, let's be honest. He did it against Arsenal in the first half, and they get absolutely mullered.
Right.
And they stopped doing it. And now we're going to talk about how brilliant he was against a Leeds team who were at home, by the way, who probably were worse than Forest at the weekend against United.
And had just been walloped by Crystal Palace.
Yeah, you can't go overboard saying, oh, this is it, we've found the secret.
Right, so Don's talking nonsense.
I'll tell you something,
by the way. 3 assists?
But it was against Leeds, who are a complete and utter garbage
one against
today.
Arsenal? One against Arsenal, does that not count? Does that not count? Does the one against Arsenal not count?
Seriously.
I think it's a little...
You're way overboard, way too early on this. Right. And what I was going to say was, by the way, go and ask Konate how he enjoys this new role that he's got. Because Konate's ending up playing right back half the time. And I can assure you, I've not met a centre-back who likes playing away out on the wide areas. They don't like it at all. And I've never met one. So I think we're a little bit early to start talking about, oh, we found the spot. I don't think so. Let's
I think we
see
found
what
his
happens
spot.
when they get tested. Well, I tell you what, they got tested in the first half against Arsenal, and nobody mentioned it. Nobody mentioned that he was trying it and had to bin it because they were getting annihilated.
But would you not
And
agree, Steve?
and then you're playing against a rubbish team. So I think we're a little early talking about we've found the answer.
But would you not agree, though, if you carry on playing Trent at right back, where he's been brilliant over the years, but we all know he can't defend and he has defensive flaws, why wouldn't you then put him into a position where he can excel? And he's excelled in the last 2 games. All right, you can say it was against Leeds, but he was he was brilliant tonight. So why wouldn't you take him out of that right? Why wouldn't you take him out of that right back slot and play him central midfield? If Pep's doing it with John Stones and Arteta's doing it with Zinchenko, why wouldn't you do it with Trent?
Well, because when you play against a proper team, Liverpool haven't shown that they can put him in there and defend without a body back there against a proper team.
He's only had 2. If you think how good he's
exactly,
been in 2 games,
the first game they got annihilated with him in the middle of the park.
I think
he's had 2 games. That's it.
Look, one thing's for sure, he's better there than he is defending as a right back because he can't defend. I'll go back to my point. I think it's a bit embarrassing that you watch one of your biggest rivals and you have to go and basically copy what he's doing. And you might say, well, Arteta does it, but Arteta worked under Guardiola, so he got some ideas from him. And
so he's not allowed to do it because...
No, I didn't say he's not allowed to do it. Did I say he's not allowed to do it?
No, I just think it seems a strange thing to bring up, isn't it?
It's a little bit
embarrassing. I'm exactly with Craig.
It's a little bit embarrassing as a head coach of some repute to go, I really can't figure out what to do this season. It's just been a horrible season. Oh, I'll look at arguably the best team in Europe and I'll copy that. I mean...
But isn't it embarrassing, Craig, if you didn't do it?
What, copy him?
No.
Yeah, why? Well, I said...
So why has he not done this before? Why has he not come up with his own ideas? That's what I'm saying.
Because
he's basically watched his nemesis have success doing this and he's going, oh, I'll do that.
But Craig, you know what coaches and managers are like. They are stubborn. They are stubborn beasts, aren't they? The more someone tells someone like Jurgen Klopp or a manager, Trent can't play right back, the more he's going to double down, the more he's going to try and prove everyone wrong until he's realised, and he's probably watched Zinchenko excel, and he's watched John Stones be brilliant in the last, 6 games, and thought, I've got one of the best passers in world football. Why am I not playing central midfield? So what? Doesn't matter. People copy Guardiola. People copy Guardiola playing a false 9. 10 years ago, everyone's doing it.
How...
Bad Leeds.
After yesterday, you said we can't really give Manchester United too much love because of the quality of the opposition.
Yeah.
Does the same narrative count today for Liverpool?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Liverpool this season, when teams have tested them, they haven't been able to answer the question. They haven't. Or very rarely have they been able to. So to try and judge whether they're back or whether they've found something or whatever against a side that were just embarrassing. I mean, it was embarrassing to be a Leeds fan sitting at Elland Road tonight before the kick-off thinking, right, let's get after them, let's get the atmosphere, let's help the boys out, let's help the team out. And then they just sat there and did nothing. And for 30 minutes, Liverpool didn't even try and go forward. It was side to side. So
Jurgen Klopp said, I think it's the best game we've played this season from all different perspectives and aspects of the game.
Of course he's going to say good things.
What about the first 35 minutes?
Right, I didn't ask him about that.
Well, a game is 90 minutes, not just 55 minutes, is it? For 35 minutes, I'll give them the due. I mean, they scored a lot of goals at the end, but I'm with Stevie. Leeds were absolutely, for the second game in a row, atrocious. He's come in there, right? Jesse Marsch was supposed to be this flamboyant, you're a bit like Bielsa, open, hear him, scare him, high press, high tempo game. He's come in, Javi Gracia, trying to shore it up. And they've just started losing a barrel of goals. So it is embarrassing. But I'll give Liverpool the due. Didn't really create anything for half an hour, but at least they closed down. They closed down. They were more like their old self closing down, and Leeds just couldn't keep the ball. That's why Liverpool had so much possession. But best performance, come on, second half against Arsenal. That's maybe you could look at that and say, well, we're playing a proper team.
Right.
But Leeds, no, that was shocking.
What we saw defeats Southampton, for Leicester this weekend, obviously now for Leeds as well, Don. How much trouble are they in?
Huge trouble, as the boys said, Dan, when they lost 5 against Palace at home last week. That was bad enough, and then Liverpool rock up and score 6. do you know, as the goals are going in tonight, the cameras panned on the Leeds owners and the directors, and they were quite embarrassed. They were shocked at the standard of goals that were going in against them. And I couldn't help but think, Avi Gracia's got sacked at Watford before. He's had plenty of sackings along the way. I actually thought, you know what, he could be in trouble. He's only been there about a month. But the last 2 games, it's telling me that Leeds are going down. You know, I think they've got a battle on. I think Everton will be fine. I think they'll be fine. But I think you're looking at Southampton, Leicester, and I think Leeds. I think West Ham will be fine. Everton are still in the mix.
But I think West
Ham
will be fine, Don.
Sorry, I meant to say West Ham. Sorry, Craig, I meant to say West Ham because they're on 31. Okay. And I think 36 is the number. So you're looking at everyone on 31 upwards, and they just need a couple of wins. That was a bad one for Everton at the weekend. That was a bad loss at Goodison. So they're in it. So I think you're looking at 4 teams that can go down out to 3. So yeah, I'd be worried if I was a Leeds fan. Not so much the 6-1 against Liverpool, even though it was embarrassing. It was the 5 against Palace.
Some bad teams down there, aren't there?
Yeah.
When you take a look at that, it's obviously it's about to be the least bad. West Ham are going to be okay, Steve.
But you look at Leicester, and they really have got probably better players, possibly than 1 or 2. Forest are on a slippery slope.
Yes.
Don't look like they're going to get out of it. There's been the odd suggestion about changing the manager there, but it's getting late in the season now. Yeah, I've always felt West Ham would be fine. But in all fairness, I thought Leeds were going to be fine until the last couple of games. I thought him going in there, a wee bit more solid, just about have enough, because the other teams down there, sometimes you don't have to be that good. As you said, you just have to be better than a bad bunch.
So who are you going for? Southampton?
Southampton, Forest, unfortunately. And
Leicester.
did I move my lips here?
Look, he's whispering the answer to you. It's like
Leicester. I'll go Leicester.
Well, who are you going to go for, Stevie?
Leicester?
Leicester.
Leicester?
Southampton.
Yes.
Yep. You know, Forest were really, really bad against United. But I think Cooper can organise them better defensively. I don't think it... The problem I have with Leeds, I don't think it matters. If he looks at his whole squad, it wouldn't matter who he plays at the back. Right. There's none of them, and I mean none. I can't think of one of them that can defend properly. Not one of them. And I think Cooper could sort something out at Forest, maybe.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Leeds.
You say Leeds?
Leicester.
Okay.
And Southampton.
All right, Don?
Leeds. I think Southampton are doomed. And I think it's Leeds United. I think they're the ones that will go. I think they're the ones that are on a slippery slope along with Forest.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.